What's that?
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
This, my friend, is a pint. Why don't you just pull up a stool and have a drink with it? It comes in pints? I can get you one. You've had a whole half already!
Good night and party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
Hello and welcome to another edition of After Work Beers. So if you will permit me, first and foremost, oh yeah, there we go. Using my Waiting on Nerdrotic koozie today that I got at one of his meetups that happened to be in my hometown. It's always easier to make it to the meetups when they are where I live. All right. Plus, I kind of have to put a koozie over this one because there's lots of green on that can, and it's going to interfere with my my pub back here. Anyways, yes, welcome, and thank you all for being here. To Jacob Ironside, who was the first one in the comments, welcome, good sir. Always good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, it's just the good stuff. Yeah, after Monday's live stream, I'm done talking about the Linkin Park thing. I don't want to just keep harping on it. Obviously, I had a lot of stuff to say. I had intended over the weekend to maybe do a short video, like a 10 minute or so video about it. Which, interestingly enough, more information came to light on Monday of Chester Bennington's son also being upset about what they're doing. Anyways, long story short, time got away from me. I went into work for a little bit on Saturday, and the rest of the weekend just wound up being busy. Right now, live streams are kind of my life. This is what I'm doing. I want to get back to doing the short form videos because those get a lot more watch hours, but usually not from subscribers like you, Jacob, and Lady Marine, who actually hang out and interact in the chat, which is what I am very much trying to build. We've got Lady Marine here, who's just finished up my workout at the gym and about to head home, but listening. Good for you for going to the gym. I got home from work, showered, and opened a beer. Not the best decision, but it's what I typically do. Of course you did. Always. Always make sure to downvote and unsubscribe every single week. But yeah, so here we are. It's Wednesday. I have had quite the wild week. I'm not really going to go into the details of that because I try to keep certain things of my personal life somewhat private and personal. If we talk outside of the live streams, you get a little more of that. But otherwise, it is September 11th, and I usually do a show on or around September 11th. I think with the leap year, last year it worked out that it actually was on a Monday, but it is with each year passing by, it becomes more and more interesting to look back on the world that we lived in 2001 when the attack happened. And I know there's all the theories out there of who actually did it. Was it an inside job? Whatever. We're not here to get into that. But it is always interesting to revisit it every year, every passing year, more so over the past 4 years, of the state of America in 2001 versus where we're at now. Conveniently enough, we just had a presidential debate yesterday that was an absolute shit show. But that is neither here nor there. I think we're all going to get fired tomorrow night on Roman's show. Yeah, that's fair. I have a hard time trying to pop onto his streams anymore. I know like this isn't like, oh, like don't tell Roman because he could pop into the chat at any time. But I've told him this. I have a hard time with his show now because he has so many panel members. I know my internet connection is not the greatest, and when I am on with other people, I really try hard not to interrupt or talk over other people. But it becomes a struggle when there's, I don't know, 10 other people all, trying to get in on the conversation. So it's a little too chaotic for me. I love the guy. I hang out with him in person quite a bit because we live pretty close together. Yeah, his live streams are just a bit chaotic. The Fifth Element one I thought would be really funny because I will admit to I've never actually seen that movie all the way through from start to finish. I think I've started it before and either wound up doing something else or fell asleep, which is more common. And I've never really felt the need to go back to revisit it. But because of the fact that Roman hates it so much, makes it so much more funny. But yeah, so I just thought we'd kind of kick it off. I don't really have any articles or any graphics to pull up. You'd think I would have been more prepared, but that's why it's a chill stream. Also, I don't know what is going on with my green screen today. It was working perfectly fine Monday. Now, like, I'm getting the weird dots over here. If I turn this ring light up, it like reflects too much. I haven't moved anything. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, yeah. So I've been seeing people post their stuff on social media of, they say everybody remembers where they were, what they were doing, what was happening at the time that they heard on 9/11. So mine, I'm on the West Coast. So mine was kind of a little bit of an odd one where let's see, it was my freshman year of high school. So I started school at that time, freshman and sophomore year. I think I started around, speak of the devil, and you're proving that the chat works from Twitter. So again, I've got about 9 people watching over from Twitter. Feel free to interact in the chat. Let me know you guys are alive. But either way, thank you all of you so much for watching and for being here. Yeah, man, I know we've been trying to get me on your channel for a long time. I know a lot of times it's either just like maybe I'm not necessarily familiar with the source material or I'm busy. But yes, Jacob, definitely. We'll talk. We'll find a date sometime. I'd love to hop on with you sometime if it all works out. Yeah, so 2001, it was my freshman year of high school, and I remember I think my first class was around 9:00, 9:10, something like that. So by the time I woke up to get ready for school, both of my parents had already left for work. My older sister was there, and it was kind of a weird thing. Like looking back on it, it's like I don't want to sound like it was insensitive or something, but I was a 15-year-old kid who just like woke up, getting ready for school. My older sister comes out and goes, "Hey, a plane flew into one of the towers, the 2 towers in New York." But the way she said it, like, was just so very nonchalant and stuff. It's terrible no matter what. Like, whether it was an attack on the country or whether there was a mechanical malfunction and it was an accident, it's bad all around. Don't get me wrong. But I just remember just the way my sister said it. She was just like, "Oh, like this thing happened," just kind of like, whatever. So I was like, okay. And I went to school and didn't think anything of it. I get to school and I go to my first class, and people in my class or no, this is my sophomore year, September, right? Anyways, doesn't matter. I just remember that because I was in photography and they wouldn't let me take photography until my sophomore year. So I remember going to my first class, which was photography, and I go in there and I'm sitting there and like other people are like sitting at their desks like, crying. And I'm just like, I was so confused at first. And then it started to set in what had happened. It was wild. I was in Houston, Texas, and woke up from sleep on my grandma's dining room floor, hearing an airplane had hit the World Trade Center. Yeah, I hadn't even seen any of the news footage or anything because I think my sister had the news on, but I just kind of like I got up and like just did my normal routine, like got ready and went to school. And then, yeah, I went into my first class, which is photography, and like saw all these people crying, and everyone was just stressed out and distraught. I don't know if it necessarily meant like they had family in New York or just the gravity of what had actually happened. And yeah, it was definitely a crazy, crazy time. But in the immediate aftermath, and I mean, if you go back and watch my previous live streams from on or around 9/11, I'm usually going to repeat myself a lot. We usually end up kind of talking about the same stuff, but it's such an interesting contrast now compared to where we are now as a nation, how united everybody was, and like I said, again, there's more and more information has come out now. People got all their different theories about what actually happened. We're not going to talk about that. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't fix anything. But in the immediate aftermath, I mean, sporting events have traditionally always had someone come out and sing the national anthem before, whatever. But it just seemed like even at, baseball games, at football games, at concerts, anywhere you went, just people were, they're waving the flags, wearing the red, white, and blue, everything. Like people were so united and patriotic in that however, whoever, whatever, however this attack happened, people were like, well, we love where we live. We are very fortunate. We are very privileged in a lot of ways. All of our freedoms, all of our everything. Like I think for the first time in a probably very, very long time, people felt that our freedoms and the comforts that we enjoy as Americans could very well have been under attack, and people united in being proud to be American. And it's just can't say the same anymore. Security to get on base that night. So those of you who are watching, you probably know Roman. He's on my live streams on Mondays, but was in the Navy. So security to get on base that night, I worked nights, was so crazy. It took 7 hours to get on base. And then how long was your shift? Like, that's your entire day. Like, oh my goodness. That's wild. Just got home. I was up and at the computer checking email before work that morning. Back to the TV. I kept hearing screaming like it was a movie. Immediately freaked because my mom was supposed to be in the city that morning. Thankfully, that afternoon, she got through on the phone to tell me she was okay. That is crazy. And to any of you who are maybe longtime subscribers, longtime watchers of the channel, you may remember Stephen Ransom, who used to join us on Mondays. I think he's originally from New York, and he still had a lot of family there when that happened. I forget all the specifics and details. He may or may not have possibly had family that was in one of the towers at the time, but that was definitely one that, just having family in New York, it was wild. And I specifically remember, this is kind of a weird one, because again, I was 15 years old, almost 16, and I went to a Slipknot concert of all things, where it was called the Pledge of Allegiance Tour. Which I thought was kind of interesting, and it featured Mudvayne, System of a Down, Rammstein. It's quite the show. All their many pyrotechnics inside an indoor arena. I'm surprised they didn't burn the place down. And then Slipknot was the headliner. And I remember this was, I think, in November of 2001. So still pretty fresh from 9/11. And at one point, singer for Slipknot, Corey Taylor, was giving a brief speech just about being American and being united and being patriotic. And they, hung a big American flag on the back of the stage for a few songs, and he gave this thing. And I thought to myself, even in that time, because I know typically with most rock bands of any kind, punk bands, rock bands, metal bands, everything, it's like the cool thing to be like, down with America, we hate America, it's not really a free country, wah, but like being at a metal show and seeing Slipknot actually even like talking about us like being united and being together and putting the flag up on the back of the stage. I remember even my 15-year-old brain who at that time, and I will admit, because I always make a big point never to misrepresent myself, just in case people decide to go and pull up some old, like, I don't know, MySpace shit or something. I don't know, like, I was not the big patriotic person that I am now when I was 15. As with most of us, when I was a teenager, I was a complete moron. I was a total shithead. I listened to way too much Rage Against the Machine. Over the years, I've come around. But I remember at that time, even me being all like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this and that and the other stuff, being at that concert and seeing Corey Taylor like give that speech and put the flag on the back of the stage, I was like, wow, like that's actually really cool. I wouldn't have expected a band like Slipknot to do something like that. And it just showed how far reaching and how deep that reached, that what had happened, people that at that time in 2001, whether you were a Democrat, whether you were a Republican, whether you were kind of on the fence, moderate, left-leaning, libertarian, whatever, it didn't matter. We were Americans, and we were united in that fact. My friend was a flight attendant that had just landed at LaGuardia when the planes hit. She's traumatized and quit soon after. I can't imagine how many people that work for airlines, like flight attendants, pilots, people who probably quit shortly after that. That's I can't even imagine thinking, like, you know, as much as they probably fly back and forth all day, every day, whatever their shift is, however many flights you do, and then you go home or something, like just thinking like that could have been my flight. It's wild. And it's so crazy to think back too. And it's funny, like when you watch older movies or older TV shows from like 80s, 90s, whatever, and when there's depictions and scenes of like the family walking with someone all the way up to the gate, like all the way up to where somebody gets on an airplane. When I was a kid, well, and a teenager or whatever, pretty much up until my dad retired, my dad traveled for work a lot. And I remember as a kid, when we would drive him to the airport, we'd park the car, we'd all get out, he'd get his bags, he'd go check in, and we as a family would all walk him literally all the way up to the gate to where he would walk on the plane. And it's so insane to think that, like, that's best you can get is into the terminal without a ticket now. And I get it, and I'm all for it. I'm all for the security, and I'm all for, because that's, I mean, you're trapped on a small metal tube for anywhere from 45 minutes to 7 hours or God knows how long or whatever. So, I mean, I get it. I'm not trying to say like we need to go back, but it's like, it's so crazy to think that like I'm old enough to remember a time where it's like you could see a loved one literally onto the plane. And now it's like, if you were to tell somebody under the age of 25 that used to be the norm, they would probably look at you like you have a third eye growing out of your forehead. So yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. You know, I had the presidential debate yesterday, which I'm not going to get like too into like politics and presidential and stuff now, but honest to God, you guys in the chat, let me know too. Like, I think presidential debates are the most worthless, useless, waste of time, waste of resources, waste of everything. Like, let's be honest. Did anybody watch the debate and have their opinion swayed as to who they already plan to vote for? We're pretty much at a point now where people can no longer have civil conversations. People can no longer politely or respectfully disagree. So the fact that we even have a debate anymore, it's like, what was the point of this? What was the point? The people that are going to vote already know which way they're going to vote, and this didn't do anything. TSA never stopped anything and has failed most of their drills. And I agree with that too. I'm just saying, like, I understand the necessity of it. It's the same thing of like, kids used to be able to have a pocket knife on them in school, but now that's like, you can't have any kind of weapon on you when you go to school. And again, it's like, it used to be this way, now it's this way. Maybe it's a little bit ridiculous. Is it actually stopping anything? I don't know, but it's like, I get it because times are different. Medical glue burns. Oh, yeah. Also, for any of you watching who don't already know, Roman decided to stab himself in the leg today like a goof, and he's currently sitting at the ER. So speedy recovery to you, brother. You're still kind of an idiot. Oh, maybe I'll come visit you in the hospital. We'll see. You're gonna have to take the leg. So let's see. What only had like one article pulled up that people might be upset that it's from Fox News, but whatever. I don't care. Full disclosure, I don't just read Fox News. I read pretty much any and every news source. If the headline looks interesting, I will read it and understand the spin that each news source has. Yeah, you be careful with that though. It thins the blood, makes you bleed more. Then they might really have to take the leg. I'll get you one of those cool pirate peg legs, maybe a parrot for your shoulder. But then we're gonna have to take one of your eyes, which you said if I get you some of those safety scissors like kindergartners, you can lose an eye with those. So if you lose an eye, I'll get you a peg leg and a parrot, and you'll have a whole new shtick for your Thursdays. So and I know Roman's going to have a lot to say about this because Roman hates Dave Grohl. I'm not a big fan either. So over the last couple days, this news story has broke that Foo Fighters' Dave Grohl admits to now having fathered a baby outside of his 21-year-long marriage. There's another article I saw earlier today. I'm going to try to pull that one up too while we're just sort of chilling here. Chill stream. Let's see, Dave Grohl, future ex-wife. I don't know what news source that is. I don't really want to read that one. Ghosted wife years before. Let's see, where was it? What was it? Okay, yeah, let's go with the New York Post. Why not? I'll just hang on to that one for a minute. There were two fighter pilots who took off without arming their plane. They're going to ram Flight 93. They were never able to intercept it because it had already crashed. Wow. I don't think I've heard that before. Yeah, I don't know. He made the rest of the band get the experimental jab. I feel like Taylor Hawkins was kind of against it. Might have even been kind of like Pete Parada from The Offspring, and maybe even had a doctor recommend that he didn't get it. But it was pretty much like, well, if you don't get it, you're out of the band. And so he got it. And toxology report suggested other stuff, which I fully don't believe, but I also have a whole bunch of tinfoil over here that I like to make hats out of. So there you go. So yeah, Dave Grohl has been married for 21-ish years. They have 4 children together. And it has just recently come out that he has apparently not only cheated on his wife, and who knows if this is the first time, probably not. And now that woman got pregnant and carried the baby to term and had the baby. He now has a 5th child outside of his 21-year-long marriage. And it's funny. It's like the internet's all distraught and everyone, oh no, not Dave Grohl. It's like, it's a friggin' rock star. Do you think these people are of high-standing moral character? The majority of them are probably not. You would think that by the time he gets to his age, being a family man and everything, maybe he would kind of settle down and keep it in his pants. But I mean, especially when these guys are like in their 20s, whether they're married or not, man, they're out there nailing everything they can, guaranteed. I'm not condoning that, by the way. I'm just saying that's the way it probably is. Dave Grohl, lead singer of Foo Fighters, revealed Tuesday that he fathered a daughter outside of his marriage. But again, like, there's very little information, so it doesn't even necessarily say when. It just says outside of his marriage, so at a time that he was married. He says, I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. He shared on social media, I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. But part of me almost kind of wonders if this is some sort of like troll or some sort of like stupid joke that he posted it on his social media, and then there's like little to no information beyond that. Representatives for Grohl did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment. He continued, "I love my wife and children. I am doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness." Okay, here's his actual statement. "I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children, and I'm doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration toward all the children involved as we move forward together." Yes, that is the theory going around, that Roman is just trying to get out of doing the Fifth Element stream. Have you watched the movie yet? I feel like you watched the movie and then texted me about how you can't get that time back. We've got 29 people watching over there on Twitter. Welcome to all of you, 29, maybe newcomers, maybe not so much newcomers, but drop a comment in the chat. Let me know you guys are alive. If you feel so inclined, I would greatly appreciate it if you would actually click that link, hop on over here to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. I think last time I checked, I'm somewhere around 403. And I believe if you get your watch hours up there, if you hit 500, that's kind of the first step towards not necessarily being monetized, but where you can have memberships, maybe the super chats, other stuff like that. So every little bit helps, which also, by the way, Roman, who is here in the chat, just recently hit his 500 mark. So big congratulations to my alternate universe Bizarro dad, who's currently in the emergency room waiting to have his leg amputated. I think you might be a little old for that. You might actually be older than Dave Grohl. I'm not entirely sure. I like watching Fifth Element because I get some great sleep almost instantly. Yeah, he's just trying to get out of the stream. But we know better. We know better. Okay, so I didn't have any funny video clips to play there. I really need to up my video clip game. We're grateful for your consideration. Blah, blah, blah. It's starting to look like Tim Curry, but like more lame. All right, so that was that. Share this one over. This is why it's a chill stream. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have articles on my phone, or I find articles on my phone, send them to my laptop, and then we talk about them. And hopefully you guys interject and distract me, and we get a good conversation going. But it's all in good fun. That's why we're here. As I said, I'm not getting too much into it, but I had one hell of a day yesterday. So as much as I almost didn't do a stream today, I thought, you know what? You need to just hop on there, have some fun, talk about some shit. And it's exactly what we're doing. Dave Grohl called Jordan Blum his future ex-wife years before his affair and baby scandal. So this is basically the night that they met. If this is the article I'm thinking of, it tells the story of how they met. And yeah, Marine, how dare you? So I'm gathering that Jacob is a big fan of The Fifth Element. Like I've already said, I have not seen the movie. I've tried to watch it before, and I either fall asleep or I don't know. It just, but full disclosure, though, I do have a really hard time making it through movies anyways, because 90% of the time when I put a movie on, I have gotten home from work, done whatever else I had to do, have some dinner, have a couple beers, get a little bit too comfortable on the couch, instant recipe for lights out. So there's a lot of movies that I've seen like 5 or 10 minutes of. Multipass. Oh, man, I should have had... I never know if Roman's going to make it or be able to pop in here or not, but I should have had that clip ready. Oh, man. Roman's favorite movie that they're going to talk about tomorrow. Hate Dave Grohl nearly as much as you hate The Fifth Element. I almost feel like we should put up a poll Be like, which one does Roman hate more? Let's see here. I think I figured out how to do this a couple weeks ago when I was asking if this was a good time slot or not. Plus, it's a good time killer because, like I said, I don't really have much planned for today. They still just wanted to come on and hang out because yesterday was a rough day. And this is always fun. Live. Make sure start playing. Okay, I don't need to hear myself. All right. How did I do this before? Add vertical. Which does Roman hate? Oh. The fifth element. Dave Grohl. All right. We're going to put it up to the fans. We've got a poll. Which one does Roman hate more, the fifth element or Dave Grohl? Vote away. Dave Grohl doesn't rate higher than a one-cell organism. All I know about Dave Grohl, he fell off a stage once and scared of vinyl. Lionel Richie. Yep. Okay, all right. What do we got so far? So far, fifth element. I'm guessing that vote was Roman. All right. So back to the article at hand here. Dave Grohl once called his now wife his future ex-wife years before affair and baby scandal. Can I also just say that his tattoos kind of bother me? They're just very random and like, I don't know. Dave Grohl referred to his spouse, Jordan, I'm guessing it's pronounced Blum because there's no E, so it's not Bloom. Jordan Blum, as his future ex-wife long before he admitted to having an affair and fathering a child outside of their marriage. In fact, Foo Fighters frontman 55. There you go. He's, right there, Roman. I think you're a little bit too old to be his love child. Gave Blum, 48, the dubious moniker on the night they met at Los Angeles Sunset Marquee Whiskey Bar in 2001. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these ads here. No, I don't need to see that picture. There we go. The former Nirvana drummer was at the watering hole with his late bandmate Taylor Hawkins, rest in peace, when a woman flirting with the latter introduced her friend Blum to Grohl. And there she is. She's kind of got crazy eyes. What's going on there? Also, forgot to mention this at the beginning. If it's a little bit noisy today, I do apologize. My neighbor in the apartment right next door moved out recently, and the crew is over there doing a whole bunch of work, lots of hammering and stuff. So I do apologize if it's noisy, because the wall that I am facing that I can touch, that's where they're doing all the work right now. They took all the cabinets out of the kitchen, the refrigerator, everything. It's been noisy, but it's fine. I mean, they stop at a reasonable hour, and just if you hear some random noise in the background of the stream, there's construction going on next door. The Grammy winner immediately thought she was out of his league. Taylor was the looker, Grohl recalled in 2007, with the since shuttered music publication Q magazine. Wow, there's a lot of crap in between this. Fuck you, New York Post. Did I say that out loud? Try not to drop F-bombs too much, but it slipped out. I've got Vans trainers on, no socks, dirty shorts, a dirty t-shirt, surrounded by beautiful Hollywood. I know this said this was a long time ago, but I don't know. I don't think Hollywood's been beautiful for a really long time. It's pretty much been a big trash heap for a couple decades now. Upon seeing Blum, he thought, oh my God, now's my chance. Or not a chance. So I'm just having some drinks and acting like a jackass, he went on. What's new? And by the end of the night, I was pissed, drunk, and I'm staring at her going, you're my future ex-wife, he said, laughing uproariously, according to the magazine. So she gave me her number. Jordan, your future ex-wife. Oof. That's rough. So there we go. There's Andrew. Andrew is the love child. But he said daughter. She just, I don't know, she has like murder eyes. She's got crazy eyes. What is going on here? Like maybe she cuts him in his sleep a little bit. I don't know. Obviously now he deserves it, but Grohl married the former model and MTV producer 2 years later on August 2nd, 2003. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say I think even in 2001, I don't think Hollywood was beautiful because I was there probably for the first time in maybe 2004, 2005, and it still wasn't great. But try to avoid it at all costs. In a ceremony held at their home in LA. The pair have 3 daughters, Violet May, 18, Harper, 15, and Ophelia, 10. I thought they had 4 kids, but maybe the picture I was looking at earlier was there was just some other random person in the picture. I don't know. So three daughters together. Grohl confessed to having an extramarital affair and fathering a daughter outside of his marriage in a statement posted to his Instagram account on Tuesday. I've recently become, okay, we already read that. He added, we already read that. A rep for Grohl told the Post that there was no additional comment from the musician. So there it is again. We already read a statement. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be a loving father. After Grohl made his announcement, social media user discovered that the rocker's oldest daughter had deactivated her Instagram account. I wonder if it's the same one that had to deactivate her Twitter account before when she took shots at Taylor Swift and people sent her death threats. Because the Swifties are crazy. It's unclear whether she did so before or after her father's post in public. Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters and White Jordan Blum during Spike TV presents the 2003 GQ Men of the Year Awards audience at the Regent Wall Street in New York City. Grohl did not immediately pursue a serious relationship with her after first meeting. When I first met my wife, we went out on a few dates. I decided I wasn't ready for a serious relationship because he's a rock star and he wanted to bone everything that had a pulse. So I stopped calling, he admitted in 2007. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, get out of here. We're already calling. There's so many other people that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before him. Or, well, maybe it's with Nirvana. I think it's with Nirvana. I accept that. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer eventually had a change of heart. After 3 months, I had a revelation and called her back. She picked up the phone and said, "Oh, I never thought I'd hear from you again." Well, yeah, and at 55, it's like, one, you're 55 and you have 3 kids. Like, you didn't get that snipped. And 2, it's like, oh, I guess the swimmers still work. So, unfortunate for him, I guess. Roman was the love child. He got sent back in time. But then Necronomicon had to fight the Deadites. And it's just about coming up on season to start watching those movies. Yes. So, prior to his marriage, Grohl was married to photographer Jennifer Youngblood from 94 to 97. Grohl and Blum are recently seen at Wimbledon on July 2nd, sitting together in the coveted Royal Box on the second day of the tennis championship, just weeks before he revealed his affair and announced the birth of his new daughter. What do you guys think of that? That is, I mean, first of all, for him to put it out there and admit on his social media, like, it sounds like he's the one that broke the story. Like, all right, okay, well, that's pretty wild. Let's see, our poll is now at 67% for Fifth Element and 33% for Dave Grohl. Which one Roman hates more? Also, we've got, let's see, handful of people watching here on YouTube and quite a few people watching there on Twitter. If you would also make sure to hit that like button on YouTube and on Twitter, whichever one, whatever tickles your fancy. But also make sure to hit that like button. Hopefully you guys are already all subscribed. And if you are not, please consider subscribing. Let's see what else we got. As I've harped on Linkin Park enough this week. I think I'm done with them. Don't really have a whole lot else. I kind of touched on this one a little bit on Monday, but we were blazing through it a bit to be able to talk about Linkin Park. So this one's going to hurt some of you. Really wish I could get rid of whatever this recommended thing is up here at the top. Anyways, Goonies sequel happening with original cast. Fix. Maybe that's what was going on with my green screen as I tested my camera. I was on a Microsoft Teams meeting yesterday and I was moving stuff around. Makes more sense. Okay, now I figured out why my green screen was giving me a problem today. I moved my camera. That's the only thing I changed. Like, why am I so like not in the center of my frame here? Okay. Woo! Original cast. Like, seriously, like, have you guys seen Corey Feldman recently? We've been talking about him lately too. Who's reported crazy guitar solos. Yeah. Now they're calling them legacy sequels, and they're like 30 and 40 years later and don't need to exist. I went and saw Beetlejuice on Thursday. I didn't hate it, but it didn't need to be made. That's all I'll say. It's just, it doesn't need to exist. It was a very unnecessary sequel. The story was all over the place, very convoluted, very disjointed. And Tim Burton's big claim, and even Michael Keaton, they said the only reason we decided to do this because we're going to do it the old school way with all the practical effects and stuff. I still spotted quite a bit of CGI. It wasn't very good. The story was just pointless. Everything was pointless. It was unnecessary. Man, battery life on these earbuds is garbage now. That's why I bought new ones for work, and these are my backups. But at least they actually connect directly to my computer because they don't try to connect to anything else anymore. I'm sure as I say that, this one's not going to connect. All right, minute. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Goonies sequel. Discuss. Oh. Man, that other earbud went from 100% to 20% real fast. Guess I don't necessarily need it because I'm not really playing any audio. That doesn't matter. Never got to see Beetlejuice in the end. I had to give the tickets away. Honestly, you're not really missing anything. It's like I don't necessarily regret going to see the new Beetlejuice movie, but at the end of the day, like I'll probably never watch it again because it was just didn't need to be made. Because Hollywood is completely out of ideas, Jacob. Don't you know that by now? That's why everything is a prequel, sequel, reboot, remake, reimagining. Why Disney is making all of their live action remakes and changing the stories and everything. It's because they have no ideas left, and there's just nothing. Oh, you know what? This probably just isn't even on. Maybe that's why I didn't connect. But again, it's not like I'm playing any audio, so it doesn't really matter. Goonies is finally getting a sequel treatment. I don't know that the word finally needs to be in there. I don't think anyone, as we're already seeing in the chat, I don't think anyone is asking for this. And with the original cast, like we saw, Corey Feldman is a total wackadoodle. Sean Astin is, busy out there campaigning for Kamala because he thought that was more important than going home to his family. Let's see. Josh Brolin. Screw it. I don't need my earbud. Oh, wait, now they're sawing next door. Nice and loud. Yes, they have no new ideas. Follow-up film to the 1985 cult classic about a group of adventurous kids is in the works, according to a new report from The Sun. The outlet reported that the cast members from the original movie are expected to return for the sequel. And I kind of pointed out, too, when I talked about this on Monday, it was like, I can already see they're probably going to somehow try to go back and, like, apologize for or, like, fix the fact that like they made fun of Chunk for being fat like, oh, we were fat shaming and what, because I don't think the actor is actually fat anymore. But one second here. The actor that played Chuck, I think, has lost weight, but I still feel like I could just see that they're gonna come back and be like, "Oh, sorry, we made fun of you. That was wrong." Because if Spielberg is involved in this, Spielberg has gone full lefty woke. So Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, Jeff Cohn, Kerry Green, name I can't pronounce. I'll just say Short Round, and Martha Plimpton starred in the film. Several cast members have died, including John Matthews. That anyone? Anne Ramsey, Mary Ellen Trainor, Keith Walker, and Lupe Ontiveros. Who does anyone recognize those names? I'm really bad with some of this stuff. I'm guessing at least one of those was probably. My brain just went totally blank. Hey, you guys! Floff was. I'm guessing one of these names was him. I don't know. Let's see what the chat says. Yes, I've definitely noticed that about your channel, Jacob. And I definitely think this Halloween I plan to set out to go back and watch a lot of those old Universal monster movies, because I know you definitely do a lot of the black and white stuff, the Twilight Zone, the older movies and stuff. So I definitely plan to try to watch a lot of those movies this year. So hopefully maybe we can find a stream that works both with my schedule and something that I have seen. And yeah, hopefully hop on with you sometime. Yes, Sloth, thank you. My brain doesn't work sometimes. So after a full work day, it's been a week so far. Already been a lot. Can you guys hear the sawing and the sanding and the construction? Hopefully not. I think I have like some kind of noise cancellation on, hopefully, but I don't know. It's pretty loud. The sequel, according to The Sun, is scheduled to start filming next year with a possible release date of 2026 or 27. The sequel that nobody wants or needs. Corey Feldman has lost his mind. Sean Astin's kind of lost his mind. Josh Brolin looks way older than he really is. Nobody knows what happened to these two. Newest movie I've done is 2003's Return of the King. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a rapid downhill decline probably since then. Yeah. There's some images from the classic. I remember when they did all the press and everything for the new Bill and Ted movie that came out a couple years ago, and I think Keanu Reeves of all people was the one that said, he's like, oh, I think people were really curious to see what Bill and Ted are up to, 30 plus years later, and I was like, I'm not. And I love those movies. Maybe not so much the second one. The Bogus Journey was kind of bogus. But the original Bill and Ted, that is a classic. That is a staple. Like, it is so much fun to revisit. As you'll see whenever I end my streams, I always end it with that clip of, be excellent to each other. Because, yes, as much as I do have my own opinions and very strong feelings about a lot of things, I firmly believe in being able to politely and respectfully disagree with people. And I think at the end of the day, people just need to learn how to be excellent to each other. Sometimes people are dumb and you just can't have a conversation and you can't be in the same room together, and that's fine. Go your separate ways. But at the end of the day, I just very much believe that, we need to figure out how to do that.
Be excellent to each other.
But I don't think anybody was wondering what Bill and Ted were up to 30 plus years later. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was pretty bad. And that was it. That was fine. That was the end of the franchise. And that movie was terrible. I mean, bad. Like now, there were so many years where Keanu Reeves looked the way he did. Like, you know, when he was in Bill and Ted, when he was in Johnny Mnemonic, when he was in Speed, when he was in The Matrix, always very clean shaven, short hair, except for Bill and Ted. Everything else, short hair. Then we got used to the John Wick Keanu Reeves with the long hair and the beard, and now he's this, you know, badass and stuff. And so seeing him now in his 50s, or did he turn 60 recently, I think, or something, with no beard, it was like really jarring to go back to like the clean shaven look on his face. And it was very strange. Alex Winter, I believe, has been doing maybe some directing, some documentaries about child actors and other things, but really at the end of the day, it almost just kind of felt like he was like throwing him a bone, like, all right, you know, we'll do this movie because you're not really working much. Yeah. Goonies reboot has been talked about for a long time, but it's finally been given the go-ahead to move forward, a source told The Sun. The team is excited about the opportunity. God, get rid of this stupid recommended thing up here. Annoying. Team is excited about the opportunity to bring the magic of the original film to a new audience. Okay. Right now, before I even say anything else, I want to know what the chat has to say about that, because as we've learned, whenever they say to a new audience, or so they use like the word modern or anything like that, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do? It's not good. It's never good. That just means they're going to apologize for their previous jokes. They're going to make the new one really lame. Where did we go? What happened? Oh, I got lost in the chat here. What happened? At least they're not remaking it. Sure, they're not remaking it because they would gender swap and race swap everybody and make everybody queer, non-binary, you know, whatever. But yeah, whenever they say bringing it to a modern audience, bringing it to a new audience, exactly what Lady Marine said is they're going to make it lame. They're going to make it lame. Oh, this doesn't need to exist. So far, the article hasn't said that Steven Spielberg is going to be involved, but I want to say the first thing that I read about this a couple days ago said that Steven Spielberg was signed on. I don't know if he's going to direct again or if he's just going to be a producer and collect a paycheck, but yeah. So there, I'm pretty sure that is the actor that played Chunks. As you can see, he has lost weight, but again, I think they're going to find some way to like apologize and like try to make amends. Blair, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Are you still on the road for work, or are you back home? How's your week been so far? They go woke and they go broke. Yeah, so there's Chunk, and what? All I can think of is Short Round. What was his character's name in the Goonies? Somebody help me out. My brain just... my memory is shot right now. And then we got Corey Feldman, who's a total crazy person. All right. Well, glad you made it back home safe, brother. Good to see you. Corey Feldman's completely lost his mind. We've already talked quite a bit about him. I don't feel like I need to keep picking on him at all. I did go to, and he was opening... When Corey Feldman was opening for Limp Bizkit on their recent Loserville tour, I did go and see Limp Bizkit on that tour. But because there were like 5 or 6 other bands on the docket that I had never even heard of, and once you get into the venue, it's about $20 a beer, I didn't care that much about trying to catch Corey Feldman's set, because I think he went on either absolutely first or early enough that all the videos I saw of Corey Feldman's band was when the sun was still up, which, as you know right now, doesn't go down until about 8 o'clock at night on the West Coast. So I did go to the Loserville tour. I did go see Limp Bizkit, and I had a blast. Limp Bizkit was so fun. But I stayed out in the parking lot tailgating until it was just about time for Limp Bizkit to go on. So I'm just gonna have to be stuck with the YouTube videos of seeing how horrible his performances were. Brandon was the big brother. Mouth was Feldman. Chunk was the fat kid. But who the Asian kid? When I see him, all I think of is Short Round from Indiana Jones. I can't remember his character's name, and I could have pulled up IMDb by now, but just whatever. We're just hanging out. The Insider also said that since the youth adventure market is on fire, producers want the sequel to have a plot that will be well received by both longtime fans and new viewers. Well, I don't see that happening. Data! That's what it was. Data, whatever. Thank you. Thanks, Steph. That's why I keep you around. You can go downvote the video again now and make sure to unsubscribe. I don't think no. Producers want the sequel to have a plot that will be well received by both longtime fans and new viewers. I don't think that's possible. As we're already seeing in the chat here, those of us that love the original don't want this. And as far as new viewers, people have probably either not seen it, or if they see the new one, they're going to be like, oh, we like this new one. And then they're going to go watch the old one and go, it's problematic. They made fun of the fat kid for being fat. And it's like, that's what you used to do. You used to make fun of your friends, and then you'd laugh and call them something worse. Like, it's what you did. It's what happened. Now everybody's so freaking soft now. I swear. Like, oh, no, I'm not going to say it. Oh, I shouldn't say it. This is all I'm going to say.
And that's all I have to say about that.
It's just okay. So then he's one of the ones they said passed away. I think, if I'm remembering correctly now, going back up here. Where'd it go? There's like so many pictures in between the text. Several cast members have died. So yeah, the actor that played Sloth has passed away. He was 6'8" and it was a professional football player, I think, for the Raiders. Well, that's unfortunate. How can you? Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. Sloth isn't in it. I'm not watching it. That's it. I'm out. That's really unfortunate. And I mean, that's not surprising. She looked pretty ancient in the original, but good news, they could probably get Axl Rose to play her now. See if I can find it. Here we go. So there we go. Problem solved. There we go. A little more. Problem solved. We still got Mama Fratelli. Oh boy. It's sad because it's true. Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. Axl Rose, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just leave that up there while I continue to scroll through it, because there's like a bunch of pictures, a little bit of text, more pictures, more text. Goonies was directed by Richard Donner. Oh, okay. So it wasn't even directed by Steven Spielberg. It was just presented by. So I guess he was even just a producer on the original. Goonies was directed by Richard Donner, who died in 2021 at the age of 91. Good God. So he was already old when he made this movie. Steven Spielberg devised the story for the classic family movie, which followed a group of neighborhood kids living in Astoria, Oregon, who head out on a perilous adventure. All right, that's enough looking at that. Let's click back over here. There we go. It's ma'am. Steven Spielberg. Okay, I just read that line. Don't you know you're not supposed to wear white pants after Labor Day? Oh, this picture was taken in July. All right, you get a pass, Spielberg. Chris Columbus, who wrote the screenplay for the film, renamed. Oh, excuse me. Chris Columbus, who wrote the screenplay for the film, recalled after Donner's death that the late director called him to talk about a sequel to The Goonies. He called me and said, "You know what we should do? We're going to get on my boat, smoke pot for 3 days, and come up with an idea for Goonies 2." Columbus, who was 65 at the time, told Empire Magazine in 2021. That sounds like a frickin' brilliant idea. It's going to be a crap movie because there's no way they can replace certain characters, and no one wants to see the Goonies gang grown up and gone woke. It's bad enough seeing Sean do crap with politics. 100%. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, it just I don't understand. I don't understand Hollywood anymore. I don't understand why they need to keep doing this. I don't understand why they have to. I don't know. It doesn't make sense anymore. But up here it says that they just absolutely had to make a sequel, and to that I say,
yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Not the opinion of this chat, who also thankfully agreed with me about the new Linkin Park singer, which apparently the rest of the internet loves, so screw them. It said, "Dick, well, first of all, I don't smoke pot, but maybe if I come down, we'll have a couple drinks together and sit on the boat." It never happened, and I regret that because I would drop everything to do that now. Most of the Goonies cast reunited virtually in 2020 on Josh Gad's web series. Don't even get me started on Josh Gad. He's already working on a sequel for Spaceballs that I'm already so angry about. Mel Brooks is still alive, but the dude's in his 90s. He's going to be on as like a producer. He's not writing. He's not directing. Like, it just, why? Now, why a Spaceball? Why Mel Brooks? Why Spaceballs? Why just stop it? Stop digging up movies from like 40 years ago and just leave them alone. Woo! Most of the Goonies cast reunited virtually in 2020 on Josh Gad's web series, during which Spielberg, who is now 77 years old, explained why there hasn't been a sequel yet. Because we don't need it. Oh my God. Whew. I'm all out of beer. Anyways, we're gonna wrap this up here pretty soon. I always say I try to keep these about an hour. I don't want to drag them out too long. Hopefully get some rewatches in the after they get posted. But okay, so Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, Martha Plimpton, Short Round, Chunk. I don't know who this woman is or these two. Oh, that's what's his name? He was in The Matrix too. Okay, I recognize him. So these are the other two Fratellis. I don't know who this woman is up here. All right. Every couple of years, we come up with an idea, but then it doesn't hold water, he said. The problem is the bar that all of you raised on this genre. I don't think we've really successfully been able to find an idea that is better than the Goonies that we all made in the 80s. So then don't make it. The one here sitting in front of the fireplace. I know over here, that's Martha Plimpton. I recognize her. This one here with the dark hair. Oh, I guess you can't see my mouse. Sorry. I'm like circling around her face with my mouse, but you can't see it. The one over here with the dark hair in front of the fireplace. I don't recognize her. Oh, I am on the wrong screen. Hold on. There. Let's go here. Oh, what the hell? Anyways, dark hair, fireplace. I know you can't see my mouse, but she's the only one that I don't know who that is. Yeah, it doesn't need to be made. It doesn't need to be made. It doesn't need to exist. And the statement of, oh, we just haven't quite found the right story. It's like, it's because it doesn't need to happen. I am eternally grateful that, oh, Carrie Green. Okay. Gotcha. So she was a blonde in the movie, correct? That's what threw me off, I suppose. I am eternally grateful that on honest to God, I think this is like the last one that has been untouched. Knock on wood. The three big main franchises I remember growing up on was Star Wars, ruined, Indiana Jones, ruined, and Back to the Future. I thank God every single day that Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale involved with Back to the Future have both stated that it's actually in their contracts that a new Back to the Future movie will never be made as long as one of them is still alive and can protest it. And as of me saying this, I believe they're both only in their 50s to early 60s. So God willing, they got a lot of years left in them. But people are just chomping at the bit to try to reboot Back to the Future and try to make another sequel or try to make a whatever. Back to the Future is like one of the last things I have from my childhood that has not been tainted. And I just, again, I'm so grateful that both of the Bobs involved in the writing and the directing have said, absolutely not as long as one of us is alive. We will never approve this. They have the rights to it. It's in their contract. Don't touch it. Don't mess with it. Don't, because you know what would happen. You know exactly what would happen. If they made a new Back to the Future movie, Marty McFly would become a woman. Doc would probably become like a non-binary woman of color or something weird. And then they'd probably like travel back in time and like undo certain like I don't even know. I don't even want to think about it. I just like that's the last franchise I have where it was a trilogy. It wasn't even really meant to be a trilogy in the beginning, but they wound up making it a trilogy. Yes, the third movie with the Wild Wild West stuff was a little bit of a reach, but it was still good. They managed to wrap the story up. Doc got his happy ending. Marty got his happy ending. Everybody was happy. And they destroyed the DeLorean. Everything is fine. It's over. It's done. It's done. No more sequels, no prequels, no reboots, no remakes. Just leave it alone. That's all I have left. It's just Back to the Future. Yeah. Anyways. Goes from oh man. Anyways, that is enough fun for one day. Yeah. All right. So it appears that Roman hates The Fifth Element 75% more than Dave Grohl to 25%. But that's it. He stabbed himself in the leg to try to avoid doing the Fifth Element stream, but I don't think he's in the chat anymore. I haven't seen him in a few minutes, but joke's on you, Roman. All you got to do is sit in your chair and do your live stream. The weather has cooled off, so you don't have to worry about it being over 100 degrees in the garage anymore. You're doing the Fifth Element live stream. I still have not seen the movie all the way through in one sitting, so I will not be joining the live stream, but I'm sure there will be much roasting to be had. If I have to drive out there just to carry Roman out to his chair in the garage for him to do the live stream, I will do that. But there's no way he's getting away with not doing the live stream. Now that I moved my camera, I'm realizing, okay, maybe, let's see. Get everything working properly again. moved stuff around yesterday for a Microsoft Teams meeting, and now everything's weird. Which one? It's this side. Nope, still getting speckles. This. That. That's better. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in. Cosplaying in the hopefully the leopard print onesie. That would be amazing. But again, thank you all so much for being here. Jacob Ironside, Lady Marine, Blair to Blair, Roman of the Empire. Don't think I missed anyone. Mr. AWK. Yeah, looks to be about it. And then every single one of you watching over on Twitter, once again, please take a second to click on over to YouTube. If you are watching, please make sure to like the stream, like the video, share it out there for others to see. If you are a newcomer, again, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as I just recently went over 400 subs, and every little bit counts. I appreciate each and every single one of you for being here and hanging out with me. I will see you on Monday for Late to the Party News. Cheers, and enjoy the rest of your week.
You